Our skit began to refer to this as the academic script. Now, the very last class period, when we met in the beginning of the semester, we did some strange things. We went to visit the Center for Controlled Aggression. When we heard that, we all trooped down to the football field. We sat in the stands. And we talked about aggression and what it meant to have it under control and not under control. Jeff, my buddy, was a psychologist. Right this down. But in the last class, we told them to write about where they thought they were going to be as seniors. And we said we would play ourselves what we thought we'd be 3 years. And they showed up with their papers. We came in, worked with us, picked, shoveled, boxes, plastic boxes, tape, wrapping, plastic wrapping. We collected all their papers, put our papers in the box, took a picture of the class, put it in there, and said, when you're seniors, we'll send this up. We went out on campus, found a central location, palm trees. Remember, this is like palm trees. Next to a big palm tree, we found a big rock. We dug it, buried it. Every day, those students walked by there and thought, they come and said, they knew their neighbors. When they were seniors, we got together, we dug it up, not knowing whether the papers would be moldy or still there, or everything was pristine. It's like we had discovered something anew. Here were these papers, we spread around it, read them, and laughed at what they were saying they were going to be. And read it going to be a picture of looking at yourself as freshman, just as we were looking at ourselves as freshmen. Do you know that our 2 freshman groups had the highest retention rate? All the other groups. It tells you something about giving people the idea that if they walk through their lives in this situation, it influences them. As I think the liberal arts has influenced us even today because of our talks. Now, it's important for us to learn something out of every experience, including this one. I'm going to tell you what I learned. I'm going to read something. I'm going to ask you a question. And I suspect some of you know part of the answer. When I'm looking at all those yearbooks, I noticed that the word alphabetic is right. Oh, I thought, gee, does that mean? Where do you think alphabetic came from? I've asked several people to come up with a pretty good idea. Where do you think alphabetic came from? Where? Indian. Okay. It certainly is. There's a town alphabetic one too. However, what I have read, and again, the power of the internet, you go into Wikipedia, type in alphabetic.
Mine.
I'm sorry. If you go into Wikipedia and you type in alphabetic, you will come up with what I found. And having it linked, how it links to Juniata. It turns out that a woman named Marion Dick Sullivan in 1841 wrote a song called The Blue Juniata. Parlor songs are songs that before records and came out vinyl records, parlor song people would gather around in the parlor and they would sing songs. This was their entertainment. She was the first woman to have a commercially successful parlor song. I mean, I think that's important, especially in this day and age. So in Blue Juniata, it's Bright Alpharetta, the Indian girl, and she sings the praises of her warrior while she travels along the Juniata River. This is the song, and I wish we had found, I actually have Jan, the archivist, yesterday, she sent just too late, the actual song. I think, it's fascinating. And we have it's come 1911, the college had the college songbook, and it first appeared there. I think that's fascinating. Are you learning something? Listen to this, though. Wild rode an Indian girl, bright Alpharetta, where sweep the waters of the Blue Juniata. Swift as an antelope through the forest going, loose were her jetty locks in many tresses flowing. Gay was the mountain song of bright Alpharetta, where sweep the waters of the blue Juniata. Strong and true my arrows are in my painted quiver, swift goes my light canoe adown the rapid river. Bold is my warrior good, the love of Alpharetta, proud waves his snowy plume along the Juniata. Soft and low he speaks to me, and then his war cry sounding, rings his voice in thunder loud, from height to height resounding. So sang the Indian girl, bright Alpharetta, where sweep the waters of the blue Juniata. Fleeting years have borne away the voice of Alpharetta, still sweeps the river on the blue Juniata. Isn't that great? Thank you very much.
We moved our tassels to the left from right. 50 years later, we're here tonight. How blessed we were being together then, and doubly blessed we are being together again. We could tell by your response that you picked up on many of our memories, knowing that they were yours made us feel great. So that ends our skit, and now we're going to really turn it over to the women who said that today they had a few stories that they wanted to tell you. So even though this is the end of our formal program for you, we're going to enjoy a bit of informality again. As long as you want to stay, we have this place until 11 o'clock. So at this point, and Jim will give you a chance to later, but we're going to turn it over now to Nancy LeCue, and she's lost, and she's going to have some of her lady friends come forward. Here you go, Nancy.
Faith, Sylvia, my partners in crime. Hold it closer. Faith and Sylvia are my partners in crime. You know, we thought we never did anything like these guys did, and we really didn't. But one thing that we did one time, we had this Southern teacher from down south. Her name was Miss Jones, and she taught us nutrition and food. She thought she was teaching us nutrition and food. We didn't like her. So one night, we found out where she lived. We let the air out of her tires. And then we got all the toilet paper we could find around the dorm, home management house, and we threw the toilet paper off decorated tree in front of her house. Jeff McElveen was in on this too, but she doesn't want to come up here. There were other partners in crime, but they aren't here tonight. But I wanted to ask you a question. How many of you knew that there was a home management on campus when you were here? Home management house? Okay. Did you all know that we used to borrow a baby from downtown? We borrowed.
I babysitted.
Night babysat. We lived in a house for 6 weeks, and we all had different jobs to do. And I asked several people today if they knew about it, and they said no, they never heard of it before. And you were a housekeeper, you were the nurse, and if you had the baby, we had a 2-month-old baby that we borrowed. So you had to get up in the middle of the night and give the baby a bottle and so forth. You had to find a babysitter. Mike babysit. For whom did you babysit?
I don't remember.
A real baby, Mike?
Yeah, I don't know how she ever graduated if she hired him to babysit. I'm just saying. You're the girl who would know.
We lived in home management house for 6 weeks with Miss Gertrude Butler, and we did all the things that you would normally do in a household, like making breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And when I was planning the meals, they would cook them. And then somebody else had to clean up. We just had a good time, but I thought maybe most of you didn't know that. But Sylvie has a little story.
This one involves my husband. So, we had regular classes, but we also had home management classes. But when we were there, Miss Butler kept the house very cold. And we were all complaining about it. George was over from Penn State one weekend, and he said, I can fix that. So while we kept watch for Miss Butler, he took off the cover of the thermostat and adjusted it so that it would read a lower temperature than it actually was in the house. So we had a few degrees more of heat. This was Sunday afternoon. Monday morning, when we were eating breakfast, Miss Butler said, now girls, after we eat breakfast, we'll clear away the table, and then we're going to have class here in the dining room. We're going to be talking about thermostats and furnaces. I thought it was busted, but she never noticed.
Any other ladies who have stories? Nobody else?
Comment about stories. We were locked in the dorms every night. When we were freshmen, on weeknights, we had to be in at 10. I don't remember when it changed to 10:30. By the time we were juniors, I think we were allowed out till 11 on weeknights. We could have, I think, you'll have to help me here, Saturday nights, one time a month we could be out till 1 a.m. I think the rest it was either 11 or midnight, Gary. And if we went anywhere outside class or the dorm, we had to sign out and say where we were going. And we had to sign, I think even to the library, as I recall. And we had to sign back in when we got back. And if we were going home for the weekend, we had to let them know ahead of time so they could send a note to our parents to let them know we were planning to come home. So we'd definitely go there. So if you guys ever wonder why we don't have very many stories, when would we have done anything?
Are there any more ladies who have a story to tell? There's a reason why you were locked in the dorms. The school didn't trust you. They trusted
We distrust you guys.
Oh. We made out all right, didn't we? How many couples got married here? But we could be trusted. The deans knew that we were going to be studying morning, noon, and night. And we had no worries. We knew the guys were in their dorms studying all the time. They didn't have any worry about where we could have been. No matter how much saltpeter they put in our food, they didn't know. First of all, thanks for a wonderful talk. Paul, there's so much Indian lore here, and we're very proud as a class to bring the Indian back to Juniata, and we hope we can find a permanent place for the Indian here and a place of distinction here on campus. So we're going to try to arrange for that, right, Harriet? We're working on it. No offense to the chicken hawk, the eagle. No offense to them. Talking about the Indian heritage of Juniata College, Nicole Heberly, I guess, left to do something important. But the name Juniata is actually an Iroquoian name. And in Iroquoian language, it's Onajutta Haga. Onajutta Haga. Anglicanized to say Juniata. So it's an Iroquoian name. It means land of the standing stone. And if you know the standing stone monument down in, is that 4th Street, wherever street that is down there? Phil, you know better than I do what it is. The Iroquoian people had a habit of putting a standing stone to mark, called beacon stones, to mark the site of their villages. So we have fairly good evidence that there was an Iroquois village here at some point in history. And Onahuta, Juniata College is where it got its name. So we have a very deep commitment to the history of our college, and we're proud of it. All of us are. I also want to say there are 3 people here. Well, 2 now, but Paul, I hope, is returning, isn't he? Mrs. Haverling thinks she hopes her husband is returning. Hilda Nathan. Hilda, can you stand up if you can? If you can't, sit there.
This way.
Hilda Nathan, now I want to give her a few Thank you. There are a few people at Juniata, and I think most of us feel this way about you, Hilda, that affected our lives on a daily basis as much as you did. You were the banker. You were the ones that, you're the person we paid our bills through. I had my $5 a month allowance sent from home, and you carefully oversaw the fact that I didn't spend more than 50 cents a week out of my bank account. I know for a fact, without naming names, you helped a number of guys and gals who could not afford to pay their bill to get their bills paid without anybody else knowing about it, and we really deeply appreciate all that you did for all of us in that regard. So Hilda Nathan, thank you so much for being here. Two other people that we've talked a lot about since we've gathered together here, Earl Kaler and Paul Heberling. Even those of us that didn't, I had Dr. Kaler for 2 classes. I think one was ethics and one was biblical history. I think he taught that in our freshman or sophomore year. And I had Paul Heberling for a couple of courses in criminology and treatment of the offender. What I remember most about these 2 men was they taught us about life. They taught us about thinking about the world in a different way. They did not lock us into a box and force us to think in certain patterns. They opened our minds to a lot of creative thinking and creative problem solving. And both of them had a deep effect on me and my values since graduating from Juniata. And I know I speak for all of us, both of you. Paul, I wish you were here to hear me say this. We all deeply appreciate what you did for us when we were students here. So Paul Heberling and Earl Keller, we're proud of having you here with us to join us for this 50th celebration. Thank you so much. One other thing, on a serious note, then I'll stop. And Mike mentioned the academic strip. Now, with all due respect to Prof. Merrill, and I really took some liberties and hope you all enjoyed the good fun we had. He taught me more about classical music than anyone prior to that point did. We learned about Bach and Beethoven and Brahms and all the rest, memorized all those motifs that he taught us, and opened my eyes to classical music for the first time in my life. So I do appreciate all he did. He did, however, have a habit of having us fly down. That's how if you all had a Prof. Merrill, you know what I'm talking about. I came across a book. I wish I had it with me. I couldn't find it, so I'll just tell you what I think you all know anyway. Juniata College for us was not so much the classes we took. It wasn't so much all the great teachers we had. It was the place, this place, that had an effect on us. The experience of the environment, the academic environment, as well as the physical environment, the growing up years we spent here, getting to know one another, getting to know about life, had an indelible effect on all of us. And we've taken that lesson that we've learned here with us throughout our lives. We've all had successful careers. We're probably more successful marriages in our class than the norm. We've become good people. You are good people now, you were good people then. Juniata College had an effect on us. And I can't put my finger on it, but I know without this experience, I would not be where I am in my life, in my values, and nor would most of you be where you are. So that's what I think the overall effect of Juniata College was for all of us. And we're appreciative of that. And I don't think it's changed much since then. Now, last night the girls wimped out. They didn't have any stories to tell. They claimed they were locked up in their rooms so they couldn't tell any stories. They didn't do any bad things. They never got into any mischief. Well,
You didn't say that, did you?
Uh-huh.
I feel every.
Yes. Well, we had a demonstration. Carl of the lunch line. Now, when Gene and I were dating on campus, we didn't know what that was. We spent a lot of time studying and focusing on other things, and we got to learn about the lunch line probably in our senior year. We didn't practice it a little bit. Peggy revealed to us that one of the places we practiced was below her window in the lecture hall. She'd be up there in her room studying very hard. You were roommates. And somehow we found ourselves below her window discussing the next test we had to take. Something, I forget what it was. But she knows all the details. She promised not to share any of this. I asked Linda Muma, where are you, Linda? Are you here, aren't you? Yeah, there's you. I said, Linda, you remember the date we had at junior college in our sophomore year? She said, no, I don't remember that date. I said, sure you do. You went to a freshman lecture in the gym, and I said, you told me all about your family with dairy business. And she said, how did you know my family's into it? You told me that. But you don't remember dating me? That was a real crusher, I want to tell you. 50 years later, the only woman in my life that ever didn't remember a date with me. And you know how bad it is for a guy from New York who's really cool? Not to have a girl remember a date with me? All right. Anyway, there's some more guys that have some stories to tell. They thought about it yesterday after our last session, and we talked about today about some of the things that you want to share with the group. I'm not going to call you by name, but who else has a story to tell?
We may not have any stories, but Peggy's selling videos.
For anybody? Oh, by the way, don't forget, it's 10:15 past the bedtime for most of us at this hour. We do have the mason jars. If you really are inclined to join the class of 77 for the new lightning bug frolic out on the lawn, mason jars are up here in the corner, so just pick one up on your way out. All right, I want to say in closing, and we'll hang around here for another hour. We have the room for another hour, so please sit and talk and have some laughs. But I want to say one more time that, as I did last night, that Harriet and Nancy deserve all the credit for making certain we're here tonight. They really worked hard in making us work hard to make sure you all got invited to be here, and you're all here. You're really proud of the fact that